Guys, we are back Monday night with the incomparable, real Rick Glaser.
Too can smell manly if you listen to Real Talk with Rick Glaser.
Thank you, Sly Stallone. We appreciate your vocal talents for that special intro to one of the kindest professionals here in the boxing business, and I'm referring to the one and only real Rick Glaser. Rick, how you doing, brother?
Good, Joe. We got 30 minutes of hard-hitting action. Fire away.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, this is one of my favorite. Well, this is my favorite segment of your show.
Maybe, just maybe, it's time for Rick Glaser's Twitter watch. Bang!
Thank you, Teddy. I appreciate that. This one was just tweeted. Can I say tweeted still? I'm going to. About 30 minutes ago. You said this on X. Turkey Al-Sheikh, please tell those in charge at Ring Magazine that fighters don't ever send offers to fighters. The promoter sends offers. And it's very dubious when a fighter claims to send an offer and the reporter goes along with it, despite the fact that is clearly factually not the correct protocol. Thank you, Turkey Al-Sheikh, and best regards. And this is regarding Michaela Meyer. She told The Ring that she sent Alicia Baumgartner an offer prior to Meyer agreeing to her upcoming rematch with Sandy Ryan. Now you obviously have a problem with this. Why, Rick?
Because it's wrong, and then the reporters go along with it they're stupid, they don't know, or they just go along with it because the fighter said so. Hold it. You say to the fighter, well, did you send the contract or did your promoter send the contract?
Indeed. And then what you get are fans that fall into the trap, hook, line, and sinker, take the bait of someone like Bill Haney throwing out, oh, well, we're offering you 25%, Shakur, to fight Devin. Mm-hmm. And then they roll along with it like this is the gospel truth.
Yep.
That's it. So, you know what? And point taken, brother. That's a very, very good point.
Thank you.
I tell you what, while we're talking about Bill Haney, though, I want to share something with you, my friend. Are you ready for, hold on, let me do this right. There we go.
Terrible fan takes on Twitter/X.
Yeah. Here we go, Big Rick. And this is from Gabe Rosado.
Dude, y'all some hoes. The money tell y'all what to do. Y'all some hoes.
I'll wait and let you talk. Okay?
And guess what, bro? And with that record, I made millions. With that record, I made millions, bro. I'm the greatest gatekeeper of all time. I'm the greatest gatekeeper of all time. I'm the greatest gatekeeper of all time. The greatest. The greatest of all time. And I made my M's. But guess what? Y'all bitch asses is fighting on Ryan Garcia undercard. Y'all on the undercard. Undercard. You're on the undercard because y'all some hoes for that bag. Y'all hoes for that bag. Y'all acting like hoes for the bag. The money controls y'all. The money tells you what to do. You control by the money. You control by the money.
You don't want me
You control.
Look, this was going on last week, and this was on an episode of the Boxing Voice. So, did you see any of this, Rick?
Not prior
Besides
to
that
you
little
showing. Yeah, not prior to you showing it to me. No.
Well, look, what I want to know is, and it seems that the negative backlash from fans, critics, other fighters, people in the business, it's really starting to get under the skin of Bill Haney to the point where he's lashing out at
Well,
poor Gabe Rosado.
he's caused people to despise his son. His son was like the little darling. Now he's caused people to despise his son. That's all there is
Look,
to it.
can you think of a worse boxing manager at this time? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's making Al Heyman look like a prince.
I don't know. It's pretty pathetic. That's all I know.
Well, look, I mean, he's attacking. If you see the entire interview, he's attacking Gabe Rosado and his resume. And it's like, look, Gabe Rosado, as you well know.
Most people in boxing that have any brains would respect Gabriel Rosado's record with all those losses compared to what Devin Haney's become.
You know what? That's very well said. And can you explain Gabe Rosado in Philly coming up the hard way? Well, obviously under the legend, great Russell Peltz.
Well, it's not how he came up. It's what he became. He became a lovable loser. And I don't mean loser as far as the person goes, but in the ring, and everybody loved him. He gave 1,000% of himself. He scored some big wins along the way. He knocked out Beck the Bully in his last big win.
Had a great fight with Jaime Munguia, Fight of the Year candidate.
Yeah, he had a great fight. Yeah, he gave 1,000% of himself. He was the true consummate professional. And he always came in great shape. He had cuts, bruises. I mean, this guy looked like he had already fought at the weigh-in. I mean, what the fuck? You know? The weigh-in, he looked like he had fought already.
So, well, hey, tell Sonia to not be so hard on the guy. How is the lovely Miss Sonia doing, by the way, my friend?
She's doing well. She's my wife, isn't she? Of course she's doing well.
Well, and there you have it. There you have it. Look. And this is, look, I know Russell. He was one of the greats, and he was a very dear friend of my mentor, Don Chargan.
Right.
In fact, Don used to always speak very highly of the great Russell Peltz in Philly, saying that, look, if you signed a contract and fought on his cards, you didn't know the meaning of a soft touch. Right. He made you earn every penny. He stuck you in the hard way, and he said, well, that's the only way we're going to raise attractions, nurture attractions by sticking them in tough. If they're not ticket sellers, damn it, we're going to make them ticket sellers the hard way. Yep. And that's the way Gabe came up, starting his career at 47. So why is Bill Haney? Because correct me if I'm wrong, didn't he actually pay to have a loss expunged from Devin Haney's?
Well, I don't know if that. Listen, that may be true. I don't know that to be a fact, but it's been a rumor for years. I just never checked into it.
And here to there. Welcome to the show, sir. We love here to there on the show from across the pond. Good of you to support Rick on this day. So cheers, Rick. Joseph, disagree. Considering ridiculous paydays Haney has received, Bill has played his cards well. Very good. He was.
No. That was then. This is now. Since he was destroyed by Ryan Garcia, what the official decision was a no contest, forget that. Since he was destroyed on that date, this has turned into a fucking fiasco.
Yep, and indeed. And look, after this, Rick, if he doesn't beat Ryan Garcia in October, can you just stick a fork in his career?
Well, he may not get past a back nine Jose Ramirez on May 2nd.
Wow. Wow. You said that, didn't you?
Yeah. Let's
Wow.
see. It all depends what Haney has left. If Devin doesn't have a chin or he gets hit with that left hook again, it could be lights out. There may not be we might be seeing Ryan Garcia, Jose Luis Ramirez.
Oh shit. But look, Rick, look, we would be remiss, and we're gonna touch on some more guys. We've got a lot of ground to cover. Bud Crawford, Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis, Lester Martinez, Bass Fundora. All of that is to come. But I think we have to have a special commemorative segment to honor the passing of a real legend, someone who definitely yeah, created his legacy the hard way and really made a difference in our beloved boxing business. And that's the great George Foreman from Marshall, Texas. Grew up in Houston, represented our beloved Stars and Stripes in the 68 Olympics. Captured the imagination of everyone watching on TV. Rick, what is your favorite memory? And I'm sure there's a lot of them. What is your favorite memory regarding Big George Foreman?
I met him in Rochester in January of '89 when he fought Mark Young. I believe it was January of '89, and he fought Mark Young on USA Network. And I walked up to him and I says, "I think I'm gonna be getting in the professional boxing business." And he said to me, "You are?" He says, "Are you trying to punish yourself?"
Oh, Big George, man. I
I
tell you
wasn't. I
what.
wasn't even in the business yet. I didn't enter till January of '91, and this is 2 years before that. And I was thinking about it, and he was a cool guy, a great fighter. It's a funny thing. Some fighters are legends in the ring, but they never become icons. Like Sugar Ray Leonard's not an icon. He's a legendary fighter, but not an icon. Sugar Ray Robinson was a legend and an icon.
Yep.
Well, and so is Joe Louis, and so is Muhammad Ali. Larry Holmes never became more than a legend in a boxing ring. He never became iconic. I can say George Foreman is iconic.
Yes,
So
he
that's
is.
how legendary in the ring and out of the ring, he was iconic. And like I said, Robinson, um, Mike Tyson, I guess you'd say, Joe Louis,
Rocky
certain
Marciano.
Rocky Marciano, certain people, and like Ray Leonard's not. Roberto Duran is iconic, legendary and iconic. Very rare. Lennox Lewis is just legendary. It's a weird thing. It's cross over that line, and icon status is very, very difficult. Very, very few people have that distinction. Julio
Indeed.
Cesar Chavez, Julio Cesar Chavez does. Um,
Well,
it's tough.
this is you tweeted this on the 21st from one icon to another. Don King, you stated. Don King just told me in regards to the death of George Foreman, I'm crushed.
Hello, hello. Oh boy. Mhm.
Oh, shoot. Okay, looks like we lost Rick. My apologies. I had to turn on my hotspot. My apologies, guys. Shoot. Hold on. Hold on. We'll try to get here comes Rick.
Yeah.
My apologies, brother. It looks like I had to turn on my hotspot. My apologies, my friend.
Yeah.
But here we are. Here we are. Where were we?
Reading the George Foreman, my tweet about Big George.
And he said, I'm crushed. George meant so much to me and to so many, a legend and an icon. He was a man that so many could believe in, both in and out of the ring, and was such a big part of my early years in boxing. What a guy. And he absolutely was. I mean, American hero. From a very short time in the ring, got in the ring out of necessity, represented the country, won gold, and then captured the imagination by just stomping on Joe Frazier. I mean, can you think of think about this?
Well, hold on. This is what you're not telling everybody. Joe Frazier was stomped on twice. Don King walked over him to get George Foreman the minute he was down and out.
Oh, shit. Oh, my gosh. That's ridiculous. Oh, dude, don't say that.
The great line about Don King, he walked in with Joe Frazier and he left with George Foreman.
Oh, my gosh. Well, look, and Don used to tell me about this, and, that's not Don King's fault. Every great promoter puts himself in a position to win, regardless of who he's walking into the ring with at the time. And that's what Don did. And once again, give everyone a history lesson. And these were rules of the business devised by the mob back when they used to run boxing. They would get options on, hey, if you want to fight my champ, you're going to have to give me options in your next 3 to 5 fights. And that's what Don King did, didn't he? And look, that's what promoters are still doing.
I know, but you don't have to walk over the guy. You know what I mean? What the fuck?
Shit. That's right. He did walk over him, didn't he? Literally.
I was kidding Don King one day. I said, Don, if I ever collapse in front of you, don't walk over me, please.
Yeah. Well, I will say this, guys, and once again, I'd like all my prayer warriors to please keep our dear friend Coach Ronnie Shields in your prayers, because he just came down with COVID. Guys, please, and stick around after Rick, his segment is finished. We're going to say a prayer for our beloved Coach Ronnie Shields. He's not going to be on the show tomorrow. We've got a very special guest taking his place.
Hold on. Who's taking his place?
Iceman John Scully. Woo! Yeah. Oy vey. You're going to plead the fifth, aren't you?
No, I like John as a human being. I think he's a very good trainer, but he thinks he's in the business and he's not. And it causes problems. But he's a good trainer, good guy, but he's not in the boxing business. He's a trainer. He's in the sport.
That is true. There's a big difference, guys. And G Funky Boxing, we want to welcome you to the show. We got to give Joseph an Ethernet cable. Yeah, guys, I'm here on my patio, and yeah, I'm going to have to get a really long one. And you look, just like we're going to have to get your fighter, Joshawn James of Gurney. Yes, I said it. There you have it. Rick, would you like to segue? And once again, our condolences to the family and friends of Big George Foreman in Houston, Texas. Rest in peace, champ. But look, what do you know any good have you heard any good jokes from Pro Box lately? Look, Rick, you know Joshawn, you know Lester Martinez. Did you see that coming this past Saturday night?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yep.
Explain, please.
I told those people that they were in way over their head months and months ago before it got canceled twice. But when they were thinking about it, they weren't in the fight yet. And I just said, okay, go do what you got to do. So everybody's smarter than I am. You know, it's a shame it has to be that way.
Well, look, I mean, do you think the two canceled camps, back to back to back camps, had anything to do with his performance? Do you think Joe Sean possibly overtrained for this assignment?
I don't think so. It didn't look like that. You know, when a guy overtrains, he's lethargic and stale. He didn't look lethargic and stale. He's just bouncing off the canvas on several occasions.
Oh boy. Yeah, he didn't. Do you think he just had the wrong plan? Because just listening to his interviews leading up to the fight, I think he genuinely bought into the idea that he thought Lester Martinez was afraid of him.
I don't know what he bought into, but the one thing we do know he bought into was a good paycheck, and you know, it is what it is.
Well, I hope
You know?
it was worth it, and I hope he doesn't spend it all in one place. Because I tell you what, you've got to rebuild after a knockout like that. When would you say would be the best time for him to get back in the ring and back in the gym? If you're Joe Sean's handler.
I don't know if he was concussed, or I don't know. You're asking me. Wasn't close enough to the situation.
Well,
you know,
you got to ask. That's
what do I think? I think he should take 90 days off out of the gym, all of April, all of May, and all of June. Get back in the ring July 1st. Start training and come back in September. I think that would be the right amount of time when he took some serious shots to the head. Those don't go away quickly.
Yeah, obviously. And also, guys, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention rest in peace to former lightweight champ Livingstone Bramble. And obviously, he was most renowned for getting in the ring and whooping that ass against Boom Boom Mancini.
That was right in my hometown of Buffalo, New York, June 1st, 1984, 41 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember watching that fight live with my dad on CBS. Was it CBS?
I don't remember.
I think it was CBS, brother. But nonetheless, rest in peace to Livingstone Bramble. And he was only 64. My goodness, what a tough sport. But I tell you what, guys, let's move on. We only have a limited amount of time. We only have a couple more minutes with Rick. And I wanted to get your thoughts on the recent interview with Terence Crawford. He said this, Rick, quote, "I'm coming from a smaller weight class that is faster. So if he gets caught with a punch that he doesn't see, he's definitely capable of getting hurt," referring to Canelo Alvarez. "I'm trying to fight my fight. If the knockout is there, of course I'm going to take it. I think Canelo has been holding back in his last couple of fights. I don't think he's been as excited. I think against me, it's going to be the best Canelo that we've seen yet. I've been sparring big guys my whole career. A lot of people are mad that I got this opportunity. They don't want to see me get the opportunity for their own personal reasons. When I beat Canelo Alvarez, I'm going to be top 3 pound for pound fighters ever." Wow, Rick. Those are some big words. First of
He's
all,
absolutely correct.
Really? Top 3 pound for pound all time.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look,
If you can pull off, remember something. He started out as a 35-pound champion. He went to 140-pound undisputed, 147 undisputed, 54 the WBA full title. And now he's going to be undisputed if he wins in a third weight class and retire undefeated if he wins the fight in the rematch. How could he not be?
Yeah, it's a good point. I tell you what, once again, keep in mind, guys, and Rick pointed this out, very good point, starting his career at 135 pounds.
You're talking about a guy that is so unique. Nobody can judge speed and distance and range like he can. It's amazing. It really is. I mean, his offense, his defense, lefty, righty. He's got so many tools, so many punches, and lefty, righty. It's just everything about the guy. I'm not saying Bomac's not a great trainer because he is, but don't get me wrong. It's tough to teach what he knows. He's a natural born fighter and natural born killer. There
Yeah,
you go.
he definitely has that killer instinct. He is definitely probably the most ferocious competitor boxing has at this time. He
Right.
doesn't want to lose.
I'm gonna say something to you that this is what everybody wants to forget about the Earl Spence fight. Earl Spence, everybody said, "Oh, he come off the car accident." No, he didn't come off the car accident, folks. He had 2 fights with Danny Garcia and Ugas and won both fights, and he looked good in both fights. He didn't look like he lost. He didn't look like he didn't look as he looked more lethargic, but he was getting older anyways. Okay, it wasn't the car accident. He looked good in those 2 fights. Now, did he get wobbled by Ugas? He did, but that's boxing. That'll happen. In the meantime, he goes in and with Terence Crawford and literally never won a second of the fight. Got destroyed. The guy's that good. Why does everybody doubt this? Why does everybody always doubt Terence Crawford? I got no fucking clue. They don't know what to want. They say, "Oh, he's got a weak resume." What's so weak about his resume? Oh, Thurman wouldn't fight him. Danny Garcia wouldn't fight him. Manny Pacquiao wouldn't fight him. Mikey Garcia wouldn't fight him. Most of the guys wouldn't fight him. Why didn't they want to fight him? Because they were going to get their ass beat down. They knew it.
Yep. Well, look, Rick, and you know this, and Emmanuel Stewart used to always say, well, look, resumes, records, and trinkets are for fans, writers, and network executives who don't quite understand what they're looking at the ring just yet. And that's what you can always tell when a fan is speaking fan speak, when they bring up the resume argument, because that is contingent on 1, how many tickets you can sell, 2, what promoter you're signed with. That's who gets you the opportunities, how popular you are and what promoter you're with. That's it. Because like we say in the business, there are no boogeymen, but non-ticket sellers. And for the longest time, Terence Crawford, he wanted that opportunity. Look, I will say this, and this is what Keith Thurman just said about Canelo versus Terence Crawford. He said, look, it's going to be interesting to see. Unlike Jermell Charlo, I can't imagine Terence Crawford not trying to win.
Oh, no. No. They've already hired sparring partners. They're all set to go. I mean, they're all geared up. They've been looking at films for a long time. He's on a weight program right now to get beefed up in certain areas of his body and not in other areas. Believe me, they know what they're doing.
Well, I tell you what, they haven't steered him wrong. He's got a great team behind him. They haven't steered him wrong yet. And I will say this. I will ask you this, and this is for an article, Rick. Do you think he's got the advantage preparing for Canelo this far out, and Canelo has to take on William Skull in May?
No, because he's going to be. It's an equal thing. Yes, but then the other guy is more active, and where Crawford hasn't fought since last August or September, August, I think. So it's going to be about equal. That's going to be equal. Yeah, nobody's going to have an advantage in that area. What I am going to tell you is I think Crawford is faster, got a higher ring IQ, can switch from lefty to righty, something Canelo can't do. And I don't think Canelo's going to be handled left-handed stance too well. He's better on his feet, and he's got that killer instinct. The 2 big advantages that that Canelo has is strength, natural strength, but that's offset by Crawford's great balance and how he can grapple on the inside, and his punching power. He's got the power of a 68-pounder, where Crawford's got the power of a 54. But Crawford's faster, can strike quicker, And I think with Crawford having that big advantage in range and distance, and speed, I think it's going to make a big difference. And his ring IQ is so high; it's just off the charts. If you took the highest ring IQs in boxing, they would be Usyk, Crawford, Bam Rodriguez, Oscar Collazo, and Shakur Stevenson. The next group would be Tyson Fury,
Dimitri
would be
Bivol.
one of them. Who?
Dimitri Bivol.
Yeah, Dimitri Bivol. Yes, would be the next. Would be the next crew. It would be the next crew. Correct. And Javante Davis doesn't fit in there after he jumped up, ran to his corner. That didn't show good intelligent ring IQ at all.
Yeah. Well, very quickly, since you said that, Tank Davis, is the mystique officially gone? Are we going to see guys lining up to fight Tank Davis, calling him out?
Well, they've been doing that. They just Tank Davis has never had the gumption to fight anybody real. Neither is Al Heyman. They've been doing that for a long time.
So what do you see on the road ahead? Because it looks like Samson Lukowitz is trying to make Edwin De Los Santos versus Keyshawn Davis. Does that fight get made, or is it too risky for Keyshawn's handlers at this time?
I don't know. Don't know.
Okay,
Don't
last thing. I know you don't want to talk about Seabass.
No. We're going to give you some more time tonight because of the delay on the technical side. So we're going to give you more time tonight. Thank
you, my friend. I appreciate that, brother. So there was another fight on Saturday night, and this was Amazon Prime. Sebastian Fundora makes a successful title defense against Cordale Booker. And did you even watch 1 second of this, sir? Yes, I did. I watched the whole thing. What were your thoughts on Sebastian Fundora's comeback performance? I'm still waiting for a fight to start. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, there was a fight between Elijah Garcia and Terrell Gausha, in which Terrell Gausha floors him in the first, forces him to do a flip, and then loses a decision. Rick, what's going on here? Typical PBC, shitty decisions, always on PBC shows. And are they trying to line up either? Because look, there have been a lot of talk, and the WBO has just ordered Xander Zayas potentially against Seabass Fundora. But do you see Uncle Al stepping in, relinquishing that title, and have him just defend one of the other titles? I think that's what's going to happen. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly, but that's what's going to happen. Oh, geez. That's terrible. What I think. Because in my opinion, at the Puerto Rican Day Parade in New York, Xander Zayas versus Fundora would be huge, Rick. That would be the biggest fight that he could participate in, and it wouldn't be a landslide. Now, let me ask you this. Fundora, is he easy pickings against the Marauders at junior middleweight? And I'm talking about Bakram Murtazalia. Ortiz. I don't know, but I'm not a Bakram Murtazalia believer, but I think Virgil Ortiz mops the floor with Fundora. Too strong, too powerful. Too smart. Sergey Boachuk. Another tough fight for him, yeah. So do you think Xander Zayas is probably the most sensible at this time, unless they're thinking of they got a real problem. They got a real problem because Boachuk is the mandatory in the BC. The mandatory is just not due presently. Oh, Chingao. Yeah, you're right about that. So pick your poison. They got a real problem. They might go for Xander. Because, and hold the BC mandatory off. Oh, geez. Yeah, because honestly, I could see a rematch with Tim Tszyu. I could see a rematch or a fight with Keith Thurman. So are we finished now officially talking about Errol Spence Jr. in the ring?
I'd hope so. I mean, I wrote a tweet in response to somebody encouraging him to fight again, where he had tagged Earl, and I just jumped on him. And did you see it?
No, I didn't. I'm looking right
It
now.
was a response. It was a response. So I just
Oh,
said,
okay.
"Stop encouraging this guy. God damn, he knows he shouldn't be fighting."
Look, I will say this one. Can we say George Kambosos, his days of being a ticket seller are over? You stated this yesterday. You stated George Kambosos sold so few tickets in Australia for that fight that Eddie Hearn has now stated that the Kambosos fight with IBF champ Richardson Hitchens won't be in Australia after all. It'll now be in June, on June 21st, my dad's birthday, rest in peace, Pops, in New York or Vegas. There's living proof
Well,
how more ticket sales
right.
were.
They were considering doing it in Australia if he could have sold tickets, but he obviously proved that he wasn't a ticket seller any longer.
Okay, last thing, Rick, and last thing, and we appreciate for your overtime here, but can we say now that the rumors are completely bogus of Steven Espinosa running the show with Dana White at TKO Boxing?
Read my tweet.
Yeah. No, all I can find is the fentanyl one.
Oh, it's there. It's there. He applied for a job at the TKO. He applied for a job with the Zone. I mean, he's applied
I got it right here. Here it is, sir. The Weasel, Steven Espinosa, interviewed on Tuesday, March 18th, with WME in Beverly Hills for an executive position with the newly formed TK Boxing, headed Dana White and Turki Al-Sheikh. The Weasel has been told since that he's not getting the position. Espinosa has applied for so many jobs, he's now conditioned to be turned down. How did you hear this?
I know everything. WME is William Moore's Endeavor.
Very good. So, Rick, Steven Espinosa, what does that say about PBC that he's looking for other positions?
Well, he doesn't really work at P. He's an independent consultant, really what he is. He's looking for a full-time gig. What do you call it, doesn't do enough shows for him to make any money. I mean, well, they do very few shows, PBC. I mean, just terrible. They're winding down. They're going off into boxing oblivion. And what's his name there? It looks like Steven's gonna. If I was Steven, to be honest with you, I'd just go back to practicing in law and not be involved in attempt to be involved in the boxing business. He's not getting any of these jobs. He put himself in that position.
Yeah, so this is the last thing we're going to say. And this is Ring Magazine reporting. And this is a comment from Shakur Stevenson. Can we chalk this up to terrible fan takes? Oh, Shakur Stevenson responds to Terence Crawford's idea of Stevenson fighting Gervonta Davis in the co-main event of Crawford-Canelo Riyadh season event in September. He said this: I think me and Tank's fight is the biggest fight in the sport. The pay-per-view numbers are going to be out of this world. Watch and see. Watch what I say. End quote. Rick?
No, they won't. It's the same demographic, and those kind of fights don't sell anymore. You need a Mexican in the main event, fighting a different demographic today.
There it is.
That's why. That's one of the reasons why Ryan Garcia and Tank did so well. Besides Ryan's so popular with his 12 million Instagram followers,
There it is. That's probably why Keyshawn Davis called out Pitbull Cruz at 140 pounds, right?
Yep.
So your parting shots, Rick. We want to thank you for the extra time. Your parting shots for our listening audience, sir.
Parting shots. I wish it was legal to kill people, and if I had 6 bullets, I know the 3 people I'd take out.
Ching Yao, man. Oh shit. And dude, are you related to Bill Burr? That sounded kind of like Bill Burr, one of my favorite comedians.
I never know what he never knew what he said, but that's how I feel.
Oh shit. Well, dude, how I bet you're praying for another pandemic. Shit. God bless you, Rick. Thank you for being here, my friend. Always a pleasure, brother.
Thanks for having me. I'll see you next Monday night.
Looking forward to it, my friend. God bless you,
Bye-bye.
Rick. Thank you for everything. Guys, and that was the real Rick Glaser. I'll tell you what. Look, guys, I'm gonna be dropping the link. We still have a lot to discuss. And once again, guys, oh boy. Yeah, I'll be honest, guys. I'll be quite honest. I was very busy with a lot of things, and I really didn't pay a whole lot of attention to the PBC card on Amazon Prime. I didn't. Once again, guys, if you'd like to join me, please click the link. But I'll be honest, not a lot from this card actually attracted me. I didn't like this card one bit. In fact, several friends of mine who were working the event for PBC told me about it, and I'm like, yeah, I really don't care. I really don't care. Now, with that said, I went back and watched the replay. I thought Sebastian Fundora looked good. But once again, what does that say against Cordell Booker? Can we actually use that as a gauge? In my opinion, look, in my opinion, they're going to put him in against maybe Tim Tszyu, Keith Thurman, and dare I say, maybe even Jesus Ramos Jr., who is in his co-main event. Oh boy, against Guido Pizza Pie Maker from down the street. He whooped his ass. Look, guys, I don't know what you do with Sebastian Fundora, to be honest. He's not that good. He's already been KTFO'd. My Brian Mendoza. I wouldn't like his chances against any of the top guys at 54. Aside from sticking around, honestly, I don't even know if I'd like his chances against Keith Thurman. And I'm being honest. Opinion. He gets his ass whooped by Boachuk. He gets his ass whooped by Virgil Ortiz. He gets his ass whooped by Bakram Murtazaliev. He gets his ass whooped by Terence Crawford, although he's relinquishing that WBO title, or that IBF title, rather. He gets his ass whooped by Israel Madrimov. He gets his ass whooped by Jesus Ramos Jr. Honestly, I'd much rather see a rematch with Erickson Lubin. I don't know where you put Bass Fundora. I love Bass too, man. He comes from a great family. But look, he lets his hands go way too much. He doesn't fight at range. And that's because he's, well, for some reason, maybe it's against his religion to have LASIK eye surgery. But guys, the first thing you notice when you meet Sebastian Fundora in person is how thick his Coke bottles are. And then it starts to make a lot of sense. It's like, oh, well, that's why you're fighting in the pocket, rather than using your height and your reach to your advantage. Because let's just face it, he's a giant. And if he learned how to fight at range behind his jab, using his footwork as a foundation of his defense, boy, he may be onto something. But he fights in the pocket because he only can see 2 feet in front of his face. That's a huge liability. So what do you do if you're Samson Lukowicz? He's got 2 titles, the WBO and the WBC. And he's not a big ticket seller, as we just found out from everyone who worked that event at the Mandalay Bay. They had to give tickets away. I know several people who worked the event And they gave them the week of the event 100 free tickets to pass out in Vegas. That's not good. So, guys, what does the future look like for Sebastian Fundora? I don't know. But in my opinion, it's not good. And there it is. And there it is. Yeah. But guys, if you haven't seen the entire kerfuffle between Bill Haney and Gabe Rosado, it's pretty obvious that Bill Haney is, well, he's getting a little fed up with people not treating him or his son with any kind of respect at all. And you can't blame these people for talking down to them. Because look, not only did you get your ass whooped from a fight that you went through great lengths to get expunged from the record, but you also let your WBC title go. The one that you fought so hard to retain. And for what? Just to lose it to Sandor Martin and Alberto Puello. It's like, dude, you couldn't even defend it. And then you turned down a fight against former IBF champ Liam Perro. And now you're fighting a shot fighter in Jose Ramirez. And the reason why is because your stock has plummeted to the point where your only decent payday that's going to resemble the kind of money that you think your son is worth is against Ryan Garcia. So what's going to happen if he gets his ass whooped again by Ryan Garcia? Yeah, that's it. Stick a fork in him. His career's over. His career's over. Because he's not a big ticket seller. Even before the lawsuit. And so, hey, say what you want. But he's done. And his dad is, this has to be the biggest 180 we may have ever seen in the entire, well, in recent memory in boxing. He's done. Speaking of which, guys, Keyshawn Davis, what are the chances of Samson Lukowitz trying to put together Edwin De Los Santos versus Keyshawn Davis? Now, if you're talking about more risk than reward, yeah, that's Edwin De Los Santos. Non-ticket seller. Stunk out the joint against Shakur Stevenson. Keyshawn Davis. They're trying to put together that fight. I don't think it happens. I can think of a million other options that would be more attractive for Keyshawn Davis than Edwin De Los Santos. And keep in mind, this is the guy who's been out of the ring in almost 2 years. For a reason. He's got sledgehammers in his fist. But he's a boring-ass fighter unless you take the lead and go right at him. Fight him like Pitbull Cruz. Yeah, he's going to stink out the joint. He's a counterpuncher by trade. He might as well be Cuban. He sure does fight like it. So in my opinion, Keyshawn Davis, unless it's mandated, he turns down that fight. And guys, did you notice in this latest interview with Terence Crawford, not only did you notice the afro, but didn't it sound awfully like Lennox Lewis in his old interviews, where he would consistently refer to himself in the third person?
You know, Lennox Lewis is a five-dimensional fighter. You know, Lennox is the best no-man test.
Guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but Terence Crawford is starting to sound like a delusional, less eloquent version of egoed out Lennox Lewis. Kept on referring to himself in the third person. Jump tube. And that was regarding his fight with Vitaly Klitschko.
You know, I was just getting to him. You know, look at the state of his face. He couldn't continue.
And then Larry Merchant would keep on bringing up, yeah, well, what if that fight had continued?
Well, what do you mean? Look at the state of his face. I was just getting to him. He's obviously couldn't continue.
Yeah. Good call, my friend. But yeah, Terence Crawford is sounding like his ego, and we already knew this. We told you guys about this, that his ego is starting to get the better of him. Guys, is this going to spell disaster against Canelo Alvarez? Look, Canelo is the much bigger star. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never heard Canelo Alvarez refer to himself in the third person. Like, this is some egoed out horse shit. Terence Crawford.
Well, yeah, a lot of people, you know, they're hoping that Terence Crawford loses for some personal reasons, but, you know, they're just mad because Crawford is going to be fighting Canelo.
Dude. Oh, hold on. Hey, dude, I tell you what. Here you go, Dominic. Why don't you click the link, son? Yes, I said son, S-O-N. Joe, you don't know what you're talking about. Your love for boxing has diminished. All you do is hate now. Brother, hate? Well, at least you're using the right tense. Hate is a verb. But no, I don't have any hatred for any fighters. Truth be known, I'm a big fan of Terence Crawford inside the ring. Unfortunately, outside the ring, he's a prima donna bitch, which is why no one wants to work with him outside of Turkey Al Sheikh, because he can't sell tickets and he demands too much money. Now, Dominic, once again, if I had the IQ of a salad bar like you and didn't know shit about this business, I would probably make that conclusion as well. But no, dude, as you know, I'm in this business and have been for over 20 years. I don't care. I don't have a bias against any fighter. I tell it like it is. And unfortunately, you're too stupid to be able to tell the difference. Yeah, I said it. Click the link, son. And there it is. Honestly, I think Dominic is just a glutton for punishment. He jumped on the chat just so I could chastise him publicly. That's what I think. But guys, let's talk about this. In my opinion, guys, Terence Crawford is drinking his own Kool-Aid. And in my opinion, he's biting off way too much. He's biting off more than he can chew. Hold on, Dominic. Do you really want to go there? Hey, brother, at least I have a lawn and it's paid for. My house is paid for and it's through this business. Can you say the same? Do you have a house and a lawn that's already paid for? No, you can't. Brother, go talk to your landlord. You still have, what, 20 more years? Yeah, Outlaw gets it. Good to see you, my friend. But look, guys, here's the reality of this. Now, once again, what is his plan going to be to beat Canelo Alvarez? Now, once again, we look at the primary scoring criteria. You can survive all you want, a la Jermell Charlo. You can try to survive, but if you want to win, you're going to have to get in a punching range. You're going to have to get in a punching range. What is his plan to beat Canelo Alvarez? He doesn't have the height, reach, advantage, or the size, or the punching power of Dmitry Bivol. He's not a natural middleweight like Gennady Golovkin.
He doesn't fight in the pocket like Gennady Golovkin. Doesn't have the jab of Gennady. All right. I live in a gated community. I'm here on my porch. Dominic, how's your house looking, brother? Do you live in the projects downtown? Do you live off of Old Pearsall Road? Do you live off of Penn Road? Brother? Do you live at the courts? General McMullen? Las Palmas? Oh, Chingao, you can't even afford that, homie. So shut up. My house is already paid for. Oh, Chingao, you're too easy, Dominic. You're like my ex-wife. Way too easy. Chingao. Oh, shit. Guys. Oh. Don't live alone. Don't live alone. I'll tell you that. Well, who's the lucky guy? Oh, Chingao, it's too easy with you, Dominic. Once again, don't sing it. Bring it. Click the damn link. Quit being a big panocha. Yes, I said it. Guys, everyone's going to wait here until you come on, Dominic. And once again, dude, I don't bite. It's all right. Unlike your boyfriend, I don't bite. I'm going to roll out the red carpet for you if you have the stones to come on. Let's talk some boxing, dude. Once again, man, Terence Crawford. What is he going to do to win the fight? Look at when he fought a brilliant counterpuncher and one of the hardest punching guys at 47. One guy who's really avoided at this time. Igas Cavallasquez. Now, yes, kudos to him for knocking out Igas Cavallasquez and being the first one to do it. But he got floored. I don't care what the referee said at the time. He got floored. And wasn't that, who was the ref at the time? Was that AKA Dave Chappelle? Harvey Dock? Referee? I think so. I think so. Anyway, guys, look. If he thought Igas Cavallasquez's timing was good, yeah, he's going to be in trouble. Hold on. I think Canelo fight is going to be similar to Marvin Hagler. Wrong. Marvin Hagler. Unlike Marvin Hagler, Canelo Alvarez didn't go life or death with John the Beast Mugabe in an 11-round war. And he didn't go toe-to-toe 15 rounds with Roberto Duran. He's been getting soft touches, or hadn't you noticed? With Jaime Munguia, with John Gorilla Ryder, with Edgar No Fight, make it to the finish line, Berlanga. Guys, that's not John the Beast Mugabe. Say what you want. Sugar Ray Leonard's a hell of a fighter. But he wasn't fighting a prime Marvin Hagler. Canelo Alvarez is past his prime. I understand that. But he's not coming off of a war with John the Beast Mugabe. He's not coming off of a war with one of the greatest fighters of all time, Roberto Duran. Dominic,
Don't sing it, bring it. Click the damn link. Banocha. Dude, you look like you're wearing a pride flag right now. Canelo fought Triple G 3 times. Joe, did you forget that? How long ago was that? He fought a prime Triple G. Lost the first fight. Second fight was arguably a draw. Could have gone either way. But look, Heidel, welcome to the show, sir. Good to see you. Will ring rust affect Crawford and his age? I just can't see Crawford having the same power at welterweight or moving. Well, look, truth is, he's going to be moving because if you try to sit in the pocket, and let's just face it, guys, looking at the Benavidez fight for Crawford, looking at the Kovalyauskas fight for Crawford, looking at the Madrimov fight for Crawford, he would be a damn fool. He would be a damn fool to sit in the pocket and trade with Canelo. This isn't Errol Spence. Canelo would bust him up. You're talking about arguably the best inside fighter in boxing today, outside of Bam Rodriguez and Noya Inoue. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, let's do it. Okay, the same question. Look, you're talking about, what did I just say? Okay, I'm going to repeat this one more time for the kids at home. For the kids, guys. For the kids. Now, Emmanuel Stewart always used to say this, and Dominic, I can say this with great certainty. You would never have the privilege or honor of working with Emmanuel Stewart. He wouldn't give you the time of day. You're a moron. But I worked with him for almost a little bit over 3 years. And he used to say this all the time. Look, resumes, records, and trinkets are for fans, boxing writers, and network executives who really don't understand what they're looking at in the ring just yet. So when you're comparing resumes, you're comparing the resume of the biggest ticket seller in North America, the biggest money man and the biggest attraction. That means everyone and their mother is lining up to fight Canelo Alvarez. Terence Crawford has never been a massive attraction. In fact, he just started getting some mainstream shine when he beat that ass against Errol Spence. And did he resemble a ticket seller when he lost Turkey Al-Sheikh over $15 million in LA? Guys, he's never been a big attraction. And he demands too much money on top of that. So who's going to have the better resume? Dominic, use your brain. I thought you said you were in this business and knew what it was all about. Brother, once again, there are no such thing as boogeymen, just non-ticket sellers. So, Daisy, that's not even a question. Of course, Canelo, being the biggest star of the sport, is going to have a better resume. That's business 101. Guys, you can't even compare the two. What difference does that make anyway? So I'm going to ask you a better question. Daisy and Dumb Dominic, what is the point for bringing that up? What is your point for bringing that up? I'll bet you'll pass that question because you don't have an answer for it. And there it is. Once again, guys, understand something. If you're a big ticket seller, everyone's going to be lining up to fight you. You're going to have your pick of the litter. If you're not a big ticket seller, but one of the best pound for pound fighters in boxing like Crawford, yeah, you're not going to have a whole lot of skins on your resume. Unless they're past their prime and can't get another fight or are planning on retiring, just like Sean Porter, just like Kell Brook. Guys, that's it. Yeah, did I mention my living room was already paid for, Dominic? How's yours? Sylvia, welcome to the show, ma'am. Good to see you. Thoughts on Gary Jonas talking about Turkey Al-Sheikh? Those turkey cards with Canelo and Ryan Garcia isn't great, especially pay-per-view. Well, look, I've said this, and look, Gary Jonas, he's got a lot, from what I've been told, he's got a lot of investment money coming in who are supporting his pro box efforts. And I think he's doing a fantastic job, seeing that he's having to get the leftovers of all the major promoters in the American market. I think he and his team are doing a fantastic job, as we just saw this past Saturday. A much better fight card than what we saw in Las Vegas at the Mandalay Bay. Let's just be honest, guys. That was a shit show. Oh, my gosh. Dominic, I'm not even going to pay attention. Dude, you're an idiot. You're sharp as a marble, brother, and everyone on here knows it. Peter, good to see you, my friend. Hey, I'm gonna put down the link. Peter, come and join me if you can, man. We're just getting started here, brother. But look, going back to your comments and question, Sylvia, thank you for bringing that up. Because look, Gary Jonas, he recently, like last year, I think it was, or maybe 2 years ago, when he just started Pro Box, he said, well, boxing is broken. And so best thing to do about boxing is it's quite simple. Really, you got to blow it up. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that what Turkey Al-Sheikh is trying to do with Dana White? Overturn the apple cart, so to speak. And once again, we knew this was going to happen. Because there are two things that unless you have the solution for these two variables, best of luck. I don't care how much money you have. You can put on the best fights. But one, if you force them to compete out of market where the press isn't there to publicize it. Tell me something, Sylvia. How many mainstream outlets from the American market are going to be covering this Canelo event in Saudi Arabia? And they're trying to sell a pay-per-view? Vaughn, welcome to the show, sir. Good to see you, my friend. He's not going to click shit. He's a big panocha, and everyone knows it. So honestly, I'm just going to disregard everything that Dominic is saying from this point forward. It's pointless. You either put up or shut up, dude. And so obviously he's not planning on putting up, so I'm just going to shut him up. And once again, I would cut him down a little bit more, but I think that's a little redundant. I think God already beat me to it. Yes, I said it. Hawker Mustang, welcome to the show, sir. Good to see you, my friend. But Sylvia, going back to your point, I don't know what Gary Jonas is going on about, because basically he said the same exact thing about the boxing business that Turkey Al-Sheikh and Dana White are saying right now. Guys, it's my pleasure to introduce at this time my brother Ugo. Ugo, how you doing, my friend?
What's up, Joseph Sakala Olsita? What's up, man? I got some time, man. I'm a bit busy, but shout outs to you. Shout outs to the show. Shout outs to the rest of the other people that might come into the panel.
Well, I tell you what, good of you to join me, man. What are your thoughts on Crawford sounding a bit like Lennox Lewis, except with an afro? You referring to himself in the third person, talking about how if he beats Canelo Alvarez, is going to be top 3 pound for pound all time. That would be a neat trick, because the primary scoring criteria is landing clean, effective, and consequential punches. That's a primary scoring criteria. And to do that against Canelo Alvarez, he's got to sit in the pocket or be in harm's way. How's he gonna manage that? I can see him surviving a la Jermell Charlo, but how does he plan on actually winning this fight? And I know what you think of Canelo Alvarez. So please
Yeah.
let me know, sir. I'm interested.
Well, yeah, as biased as I am with my opinions about Canelo and his fan base, I don't. I've been saying this the whole time, way before in other shows, all throughout the YouTube sphere. I think Crawford has the edge. It's going to be a tough fight, but the stupid shit he's been saying about himself, it's just delusional
It's cringe, isn't it?
marketing. Yeah, it's cringe. It's just like not. That's why certain people because trust me, actually, case in point, I had him in my pound for pound list until he started saying that stupid shit about the people don't know
Yeah.
what they're watching, and I was like, look, man, you're not gonna look us as consumers. You're not gonna tell me how the fuck I interact with the sport. Who do I like? Who do I not like? I'm gonna like whoever I want to, and I'm gonna hate whoever I want to, and that's just that sort of comment. It rubs other people the wrong way, man. It's disingenuous. He's not that great. Look, if Crawford thinks he's that great, all right, man, let's see it. Because you know, a lot of people give him shit for the Madrimov fight. I thought it was a closer fight. I didn't think he'd do that bad. But him as a pound for pounder, these guys got to set themselves apart. Like you see a guy recently, like Junto Nakatani, exactly. Yeah, you have to do exactly what he has done. He's put the pressure on these guys. He's sparked these guys out. He's put them out. He's given you a reason to want to watch the guy, and that's the guy that
Indeed.
I recently put into my pound for pound. Seventh, but. But when Crawford says shit like that, man, nut up or shut up, but show that shit in the ring, man. That's what we want to see. If you think you're that great, because to be honest, I haven't seen any performance like that that's great about Crawford. The only reason why he's going to win the matchup against Canelo, in my opinion, is just given the skill set and he has longer range. But it's going to be a tough fight for both, honestly. And more so for Crawford. He's for sure at a disadvantage, but that's my 2 cents basically.
Well, look, man, and once again, I appreciate your opinion, and yeah, everything you're saying makes sense. Because look, man, Crawford, once again, let's just be honest. Outside of that Errol Spence performance, unless he gets the knockout, is less than scintillating.
Yep.
Go take a look at that Jose Benavidez Jr. fight. Go
Exactly.
take a look at his fight against Sean Porter. Without the knockouts, he looks downright uneventful. He reminds me a lot of Mike Garcia. Unless he gets the knockout, he's downright boring. Because he's a counterpuncher and he fights almost like a Cuban. It's less than scintillating. Unless he gets the knockout. And we all saw how that ends with that fight against Madrimov. It's like watching paint dry.
Yeah.
So how's this fight going to play out against a pocket counterpuncher much stronger than he is? Like Canelo Alvarez. How's that fight? Look, I see it playing out almost identically to the snooze fest. That was Jermell Charlo. Correct me if I'm wrong, brother. I don't see it playing out any other way.
I mean, it's very possible.
He's going to take any risks.
He has to at this point. I would say if there's any point in time in his career where he should take risks, this is a fight to do it. If he wants to make an exclamation point on it, and if anything sort of eventful in his career, this has to be it. But the only reason why I don't think he's gonna lay an egg, because let's be honest, with that Jermell Charlo performance, that's like the bottom of the barrel. That's like the worst thing you could possibly do. Anything other than that is a better performance by default, right? Logically speaking. So I think he'll put in some work, but it's gonna be a tough. And I think given the arrogance, I think that's like in terms of his character, I think that's the reason why I think he's not going to. But I wouldn't be surprised if he has to move more often than we've seen him, because I think he knows the danger. Everybody knows the danger when you're in the pocket with Canelo. You either gotta take his offense away, you gotta crack the kid before, get out the way, because if you punch with Canelo, you can do that too. But there's nobody that. It's not necessarily even about having the chin. Is nobody has the balls to go up in there and do that. And you could counter him effectively. But I see him using his range more, using his jab and his range. I think the thing with Canelo is that he has a given skill set. He's developed this much as a fighter. And the thing I don't like is the fact that he leverages a lot of his offense is via his chin, I want to say. And I don't like the fact that he doesn't really want to, when he's faced with a different factor in the ring, he usually doesn't. He has some, obviously has some IQ in there. I'm not gonna disregard that, but he has trouble with like things that he hasn't faced before to figure out a way to do it in the ring. It takes him too long. By the time he's like
Well,
he does
let's
anything
just
about,
be honest. Let's just be honest.
yeah,
The fighters who always give Canelo Alvarez trouble are fighters with a very intelligent jab.
yeah,
Terence has an intelligent jab,
that too, yeah,
but yeah, you look once again, Floyd with a very intelligent jab when he was a young kid over 10 years ago at 54. That's a far cry from the seasoned, more complete version of Canelo Alvarez, a guy who is a lot more proficient now at cutting off the ring and closing the distance. I don't see Terence Crawford how he's going to win this fight. I
yeah,
don't see it. I just don't see it. Now, once again, he may be able to survive, but how's he going to win? Once again, it's very difficult, and Gennady Golovkin will tell you this. It's very difficult to get the judges at ringside to give you the benefit of the close, competitive, uneventful rounds against Canelo Alvarez because he has the more eye-catching offense. What do judges look for? Clean, effective, and consequential punches landed. Okay, that combines speed with power. Canelo's explosiveness at 68. All he has to do is throw just as much as Crawford. He doesn't even have to land, and he's going to get the benefit of the close competitive rounds. Advantage Canelo. I don't see how Crawford can win this. How he can fight him in the pocket. How he can score points and avoid from getting hit. We saw Joe Saunders doing a very good job. And he was doing well until he wasn't. If he takes risks in this fight, I see that fight playing out. Another southpaw, another crafty southpaw with more power than Crawford. I see it ending that way. Unless you think Canelo has slid that far past his prime. Think about this, though. That was several years ago. Ugo, do you think Canelo has slid away from his prime far enough where we could see an upset?
yeah. I think there's a stagnation. I wouldn't necessarily say slip. It's just stagnated, and I think that I can already smell the excuses already by the canalitas and the lovers. But that's gonna be one of the. Oh well, he's too old, man. He fight. They're gonna trust me. They're gonna bring. Oh well, he took a lot of damage in the Triple G fight. Even though in those last recent engagements, he's been cracked and his head has been popped back and forth all over the place like a fucking pool ball, whatever, like a cue ball. Because Munguia has cracked them, Ryder's cracked them. But anyways, he has a chin. You just don't see he doesn't get knocked down. So, but it's very yeah. I don't see anything more. So he's stuck in his style, which is, I mean, it's worked out for him. It makes sense. I would actually invest a little bit more on the offense if I was him, more offensive angles and pressure. But he decides to. Good. He has a right to, as a fighter, develop the way he wants to. So he is stagnating, though, in my opinion. He's not getting better. It's not getting terribly like he doesn't look like he's decaying, but he's not.
Do you see this, Ugo?
Ends like B-ball versus Nello.
How?
What? No. No, there's no way.
Hold on. Dominic, dude, not drinking anymore, man. I'm a born again Christian. I don't drink. Okay, maybe you should try going to church in this Lenten season and get prepared for the resurrection of Christ, our Lord and Savior. So shut up. So anyway, man, look, Daisy, Canelo would not be taking this fight if he were the B-side. Once again, keep in mind, Crawford needs Turkey al-Sheikh to be in a big fight. Canelo doesn't. He turned down a huge fight against Jake Paul. Not that I'm saying that fight's any better. But, hold on. I didn't even see this. Major Key, welcome to the show, sir. Good to see you, man. Welcome to the program again.
Thank you, thank you. Hey, I'm listening. Go ahead and land your plane, brother. I'm staying here listening.
Yeah, keep on going, Hugo.
Yeah, so that comment, it's not gonna be nowhere near. It's gonna be a lot closer of a fight. Canelo versus Bivol, that was a complete ass whipping masterclass. That
Yep.
guy just had better feet, better intelligence, better cadence. He cracked them open. He exposed them
Better
in some
jab,
ways.
better
Better
footwork,
jab, and he
height,
caught him.
reach.
Right, and what I love about that matchup too, I've been saying this shit a long time ago, even when he was in his prime. A lot of guys after Canelo throws his payload, they just stand there and let him, and they don't hit anything back. And then what we saw with Bebo is like as soon as he got hit with something like those hooks, and he caught him in his guard, he cracked him right back. And that's what you got to do. It's nowhere near. It's not gonna be. It's gonna be a close fight, man. If Crawford wins, he's gonna have to edge it out. It's gonna be fucking 7-5. It's close. It's gonna be close. It might be a controversial fight actually, if it does get to that point. Because I for sure agree with your sentiment. If it is a Canelo finish, it's gonna be later in the rounds. He's just gonna break him down. And
Well, look, it's in my opinion, Hugo, all very good points. In my opinion, he is going to his performance. Terrence's fight plan is going to resemble the fight plan he used against Victor Postal, using lateral movement, using the jab, changing stances.
right,
But once again, Canelo his timing is so much better than Victor Postal. Rick is so much better than Victor Postal. Experience, power. I don't see how Terence Crawford can win this fight. Major Key, who do you like in this fight and why?
This is my wheelhouse. When it comes down to breaking down the science of boxing, is what I love to do. I don't like to pocket watch. I don't like to talk about things that are, predictable in the future. When we all have to guess and bet on things that, my wheelhouse is this. We already have seen Terence Crawford fight. We've seen Canelo Alvarez fight. Love both of them. They're both top-notch fighters right now. I love both of them. I'm not going to take anything away from them. What I'm going to say is this. You need to get acclimated. This is in any sport. You need to get acclimated against your competition. When you go from, high school, you need to get to college. You need to get to college to professional. It's the same thing when you're dealing with weight classes in boxing. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't realize this. They don't take this shit into consideration. They act like fools when we're talking about this very important aspect. When Usyk had a tough fight against Witherspoon, they thought, "Oh, this guy's weak. He can never dominate the heavyweight division." And I complained to people and said, "Listen, guys, like, what are you talking about? This guy needs to get acclimated to the weight division."
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? So he knew that,
even after the Chisora fight,
because he needed to get somebody that was a heavy hitter, that was bigger than him and more resistant to punches, so that he could get acclimated to the weight division.
Grew into the division successfully.
Right, exactly. That's what I was saying from the get-go.
Crawford doesn't have time.
He doesn't have that. No, he's too old right now, and Canelo is right now like he's out. He's almost out of his peak right now. He's losing steps. Don't get it twisted. I get that, but he's not losing steps to the point where he's gonna not be acclimated to his weight class. Get the fuck out of here. Like, you got Terence Crawford that's moving up to his weight class. You see what I'm saying? And that's why they're smiling over there like, oh, this guy thinks he's going to come up here and beat us. Like, okay, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. It's a good payday. I get it. It's a good payday. I completely understand the payday. And I love Terence Crawford. I think he is definitely one of the best fighters of this era of the 2020s. You know what I'm saying? And maybe of the last decade. I give him credit for that. Like, that's my guy right there. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely in the top three pound for pound, with Inoue and Canelo being questionably in any of those conversations. But besides that, I'm just saying, like, I think that people have to take it into consideration that he's not acclimated to the weight division, and I think that a lot of people are not paying attention to that, and that's where they're going to lose their bets.
That I couldn't agree more. And Hawker Mustang says, yeah, Crawford versus Posta was a terrible fight. That's my point exactly. Once again, I don't see Crawford doing much to win the fight. I see him going the distance. I see him trying to make this a fencing contest from mid to long range. I see him using lateral movement to try and stay out of harm's way with his footwork as the foundation of his defense. But once again, if you're a judge at ringside, you score fights using the primary scoring criteria: clean, effective, and consequential punches landed. I don't see where he does enough to beat Canelo Alvarez. You don't win a fight on defense unless you can land more punches more effectively. And I don't see him doing that against a guy whose prime is at 168. His prime weight, guys. Keep in mind, Canelo was great at 54 and 60. But we saw a different animal from Canelo Alvarez at 68. That's it, guys. It's my pleasure to introduce at this time our brother Judas. Welcome to the show, sir. Good to see you.
Hello, guys. Hello, Joe. Hello, Hugo over there. And thank you for having me here. And excuse me for my limited English.
No. You sound great, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was listening to you. And yes, I don't think Crawford has enough for Canelo. And I also think that it's going to be similar to the Charlo fight. But I do think he's going to try. He's going to try really hard for at least 5 rounds. But when he realizes that Canelo is going to be too much in the physical aspect, he's going to start backing down, and he's going to start to survive and try to not getting knocked out. That's how I see it going.
Yeah, honestly, I don't. Welcome back, Major Key. And look, you this. Yeah, I don't see, man, how Crawford can win this fight. I can see how he goes the distance, and it's not going to be fun to watch. Just like Jermell Charlo went the distance. Does that say anything at all, though?
Yeah, and something else. Even if Crawford wins, I think it could only mean that Canelo is down and out already, and he's not at his prime anymore. As we can see.
You mean like Errol Spence Jr.? Look. Say what you want about Crawford's brilliant performance against a shot Errol Spence Jr., but let's be honest, guys. He is a shot fighter. He got his ass whooped. That's the reason why he hasn't been in the ring since. He's a shot fighter. Terence Crawford picked on the low-hanging fruit. Keep in mind, though, he had 3 titles still. And he earned another one against Usyk or Ugas. So once again, it's very easy to look in hindsight as 2020. But I'll tell you what, it's obvious. Terence Crawford with that eye-opening, brilliant performance, and you can't take anything away from it. But in retrospect, when has he ever looked like that against anyone else? Crawford took advantage of a very inept and shot Errol Spence Jr., who could only see out of one eye.
Let's be honest, though. That's not what people were saying going into that fight, though.
No, not at all. That's why I'm saying you can't take anything away from him. But look at his other performances. Now, you mean to tell me he's going to do enough to beat Canelo Alvarez?
No. You see, I'm with you on the Canelo Alvarez tip, but
I know you are.
I can't take away any credit from the Errol Spence thing, though, because Errol Spence, everybody was saying that Errol Spence was going to whoop his ass. You know what I'm saying? This and that. There's no way that Terence Crawford could do this. I made a couple of people eat their crow on my channel back in the day. When this happened. I made a couple of people pop up that same night that this happened. So it is what it is. But I'm just saying. I'm just saying that. Look, I respect the skill, right? And what I'm saying is that okay, so he lost that fight. Errol Spence, no doubt. Terence Crawford won that fight. What I'm saying is that he's a very skillful fighter. I'm not saying that like I'm gonna always be like undoubtedly correct when I say that Terence Crawford is a complete fighter. He's a complete fighter. That's why I knew that he was going to beat Errol Spence. It's just he's a complete fighter. It's just a different dog, right? But the problem is you can have different fighters, just like a Canelo Alvarez is at his own weight division, right? That is a dog that got a chin that's not going to get clipped by somebody that couldn't knock out people at his own weight class, like a Terence Crawford. So if you come up in weight class to 168 and you fight a dude that's already dominated and become undisputed in the weight class that he is even trying to become undisputed in a higher weight class. I sorry, Terence Crawford, I love you, but you're not going to do it.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. And once again, not taking anything away from Terence Crawford. Okay, he's one of the best pound for pound fighters of this era, not just in boxing today, of this era. He's a strategic nightmare if you're trying to prepare for him and you're in the same weight division, because he's very good at both sides. And I understand why Marvin Hagler brought up the Marvin Hagler Sugar Ray Leonard. Because, well, look, let's just be honest. He's the best switch hitting badass since Marvin Hagler was in his prime. But this isn't going to resemble him. Peter Von Marks, your thoughts, brother, and welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks, Joe. I got to tell you, I'm a Bud fan, and the way I think, I was listening to that one fella that was saying round 5. That's what I'm thinking too. But I'm not. Bud's going to fight. He's got the reach. He's the same height, and he's strong. That's why he beat Earl Spence. You talk about that Spence fight. Bud was pushing him around. I mean, everybody was saying, "Oh, how strong Spence was." He wasn't that strong when he got in there with Crawford. Crawford's strong.
Well,
so
I'm thinking
he's going to.
Peter, let's just be honest. The key to victory was taking away that Errol Spence volume jab. And he did so brilliantly. So that's the big question. What is going to be his strategy against a complete fighter like Canelo Alvarez?
He's going to move side to side. He'll move at angles. He's going to go ahead and use the jab. It's going to be a mid-range fight. And I think around round 5, they might lock up in the middle. They're going to have to fight one of it'll get to the point to where they're going to have to duke it out.
You want to bet?
I think there's going to be a knockout. I think there's going to be a knockout.
Crawford will never give him that opportunity and fight him in close quarters. Never. If he sees him hurt, he will. He's never going to see him hurt, brother.
Oh, hey, wait a minute now. Never say never, man. Never say never.
No, I'm saying never. Look, unless Canelo comes into the ring with a Sunday morning hangover, he's not going to get beaten up by Terence Crawford. That's
You trying to tell me Crawford doesn't hit hard?
Daisy Sanchez, not at 68, he doesn't. Sorry.
How do you know? He was 160 after his last fight. I mean, he's not that small. They're both the same size. Both of them are 5'9", except Crawford's got the reach.
Brother. No, Canelo is the naturally bigger fighter. He didn't begin his career at 135 pounds. He didn't just win the undisputed crown at 47 2 years ago. How many fights had past 54? 0.
Both of them are older now. Whole different deal. Being a young man and being an old man's 2 different deals.
Peter, I respect you for a long time. We've been friends on YouTube for a very long time in this boxing community. Let's watch the fight. Don't get upset, because I also agree that you're completely wrong on this one. You have to get acclimated. You have to get acclimated to that weight class, and that doesn't mean I don't respect you as a boxing supporter or fan. I'm just saying that we've been dealing with each other for a long time on YouTube. I also agree with that You have to get acclimated. I don't think that Terence is he's a more complete fighter if you ask me, right? But he's not the one that's got acclimated to that weight class. And Canelo is also a complete fighter, just in a different way. And so he's got a chin. So every threat that Terence Crawford brings to the table, Canelo is already prepared for. And that's why we can agree to disagree right there.
I just don't see Canelo cutting him off that much. I don't see Canelo cutting off the ring that much on Crawford. I don't. But he might, he'd be able to.
Hold on, guys.
What you're saying
I
is he's
respect
going to
you.
Hold on, Peter. Hold on. I want to recognize my brother in Christ, Iceman. Welcome to the show, sir. He says, Bud won't get tired. He's training with Conti, with snack systems. Look, I'm not even going to go there because everyone knows how I feel about
Scullo knows what it is.
in boxing. Come on now. You mean to tell me that Canelo, you think he's a good, clean fighter also? Come on now, guys. Look. They're only can you name any elite level fighters in this business that aren't on the good? Give me one.
Usyk.
Usyk, you think he grew into the division naturally? Okay, that's a good one.
I love Usyk, man. Because he's got the crazy look in his eye, man. You should have known that when before he moved up. The crazy look. And the fact that he lived in Ukraine, right? You can already tell.
Yeah, he's a
different breed.
predator. He's a cerebral predator, just like Terence Crawford. But if you think he grew into the division naturally, brother, I've got some oceanfront property to sell you in San Antonio.
No, but you see, that's where we disagree. You see, you forgot that we started this conversation where you need to get acclimated, and I brought up Usyk.
No, that's true. If you think he did it naturally,
so he got acclimated. He didn't just jump into the division. He looked weak against Witherspoon, and then
right. Once again, my point is though, if you think he did it naturally, just like Canelo, if you think he became acclimated at 168 naturally, boy, you've got another thing coming. That's why he was knocking people the fuck out at 68. Now look, Roshi Fan Club, welcome to the show, and thank you for supporting my son's band. Anyone that thinks Crawford has a chance versus Canelo is a drug-addicted alcoholic, I think you just described most people who watch this sport. But thanks for being here. Chingao. Shoot, are you gonna insult all of the fans of boxing? Chingao, man. Anyway, guys, look, let's move on from this because it remains to be seen. I can tell you this. You can never count out a real winner like Terence Crawford. But honestly, my money's going to be on Canelo Alvarez. And I'm sorry, until someone puts forth a more compelling case, that's what I'm going by. Look, let's move this. Shakur Stevenson.
Hey, thanks for having me up, brother. I'm about to drop off because of my percentage. I'm good. Have a good night.
Hey, take it easy, Major Key. Good to see you.
Take it easy, guys.
Guys, that was Major Key Boxing. If you haven't already, please go subscribe to his channel. Good guy. Look. Let's move on. We still have a lot more to go, and we don't have a whole lot of time left. So look, Shakur Stevenson stated, no, Crawford, no, I don't want to be buried on someone's undercard, especially if I'm fighting Tank Davis, because this fight is going to prove to be the biggest fight in boxing.
Yep.
Who on God's green earth actually believes that line of horse shit? If I didn't know any better, I would have thought Bill Haney would have said that. Ugo, your thoughts? Does Tank versus Shakur even crack 500,000 purchases?
No, I don't think so. I think that fight's never gonna happen. There's too much bullshit, too much A-side crap, too much. There's not even a situation even now where they're gonna have to. I don't see circumstances being made where like they're forced to. That's the only way they're going to fight, if they're forced to, if they need to. But shit, I don't think so. It's a big fight, but it's not maybe 150, maybe 175.
Yeah, honestly, I'm with you. I don't think this does well at all. I think Shakur Stevenson, he's delusional, a lot like Terence Crawford, a lot like Devin Haney, a lot like Teofimo Lopez. They think they're worth a lot more than they are. So when has Shakur Stevenson ever sold anything well? Has he ever even sold out a venue where he fights? Keep in
don't
mind,
think so.
he was the B-side against Oscar Valdez. So tell me how this does well on pay-per-view, to the point where he's saying that he and Tank is the biggest fight in boxing. Brother,
No.
in my opinion, the rematch with Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney does a pile driver on Tank versus Shakur. Eudes,
Yeah, me
your
too.
thoughts, sir?
I don't think it could sell match. I don't think it's gonna happen at all. I think Shakur is gonna move first to 140 because he doesn't want to fight his lover, Keyshawn. You know what I heard? You know what I heard? I heard. Yeah, his best friend. You know what I heard a few hours ago? I heard that if Cepeda beats Farmer, they would be fighting Shakur at the Canelo undercard, May 4th.
Honestly,
I heard it from the Nahar trainer. Cepeda's trainer himself.
Oh, Coach Panda.
Yeah.
I like Coach Panda. He's a good guy.
Yeah,
I will say this.
Mhm. Yeah, Panda was this channel, Mill City Boxing. The interview is a couple of hours ago.
That's a nightmare matchup for William Zepeda. It'll make Shakur Stevenson look like Floyd Mayweather Jr. at 130 pounds.
I know.
That's terrible. That's terrible. Hold on, Daisy. I know the real number, and it's nowhere near 260. It did between 130 and 150,000 purchases. I know that to be true. So, yeah, that's a bogus number. That's Dan Raphael getting a publicist number, right? And Iceman says, hey, Canelo still needs to get past William's skull. Have you ever seen William's skull fight?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of fights.
Yeah. So tell me you were so impressed with this narrow victory over Vladimir Shishkin.
It is what it is.
To beat Canelo, unless he actually lets his balls hang in the center of the ring. And if he does that, he's going to get his ass whooped. He's going to get knocked out. Look, man, he's going to stick and move. It's going to be a very uneventful fight, and it's going to look like watching paint dry compared to the Munguia, Ryder, and Berlanga fights. It's going to be very uneventful because
Munguia was a pretty good fight.
I'm sorry, what?
Munguia was a pretty good fight. I like Jaime.
You know, all three of those aforementioned fights were great in comparison to this one. William Skull doesn't let his hands go. In fact, I thought that fight with Shishkin could have easily gone either way because neither fighter did shit. Neither fighter did anything. Ugo, am I exaggerating about that?
No, he did terribly. Skull is like a downgraded version of Cuban style. I don't know what the fuck he's trying to do, honestly, but he's a terrible. It's a terrible fight, man. It's a joke fight. Terrible fight.
He looks like a bigger version of Arizona Lotto who can't run.
Who's a lot in some situations he's a lot slower too. I don't know. It's like he's. I don't know, man. That guy's unimpressive though. Uneventful, unimpressive. I don't want to watch the guy. You know, he's just irrelevant, but he's up there.
Going back to Crawford at 54, in my opinion, instead of fighting Canelo Alvarez, I would much rather see Bud Crawford take on Virgil Ortiz or Sergey Boachuk
Or Murtazalia.
or Bakram Murtazaliev. Yeah, that's more like it. And honestly, I don't think he gets past. Honestly, if he fought all three, I don't think he would come out undefeated. I think he loses to possibly two of the three.
Those are some young guys, man. They are wicked. Yeah, all those guys are tough.
Guys, we want to thank Ugo for being a part of the show. Thank you for being on as long as you were, my friend. Please come back and see us. Yeah, I like Virgil, in my opinion, and this may be unpopular, but I like the sneaky lead right hand of Virgil Ortiz Jr. I also like the body attack. I like the way he cuts off the ring and closes the distance. Keep in mind, Terence Crawford does not fight like Sergey Boachuk. In my opinion, the best matchup for Crawford, and I don't know it at his age, but stylistically, the best matchup would be against Sergey Boachuk. In fact, I think Crawford looks great. Maybe until he doesn't. Can he hurt Boachuk with that granite chin? Can he actually keep up with that pace for 12 rounds? Who knows?
Yeah, it's a heck of a fight there.
In my opinion, I think Crawford loses to two of the three at 54. Let's be honest, guys. That's why he's not interested in cleaning out the division. Remember, he was talking about before the Madrimov fight. Oh, I'm going to clean out the division before I take on Canelo. Well, he quickly shifted gears. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think it's because he's like, what, 37? He's 37. He's looking for a payday, and he's going to go for the gusto.
That's it. It's all about the payday. You this in your best Canelo voice. Payday. Payday. He wants payday.
Payday. I know that.
That's just so funny on all of this, my friend.
Well, can you ask again? I didn't hear you right.
So, out of these three, who does Crawford, in your mind, does he beat all three? Boachuk, Murtazaliev, and Virgil Ortiz. And who does he lose to if he loses to any of them?
I think, I don't know, because what I saw in that Madrimov fight, I think it was like the ceiling for Crawford. And I think everyone in there would be really difficult for him. I don't really know if he can beat. I think he has a chance with Murtazaliev because Murtazaliev has big trouble with inside fighters. We saw it with Kulkai, and it was very difficult for him to get at.
I agree. He fights in that Eastern European style. He prefers to have everything from mid to long range. Yes, exactly. I agree. But Crawford is not an inside fighter.
Yeah, but
Crawford,
I think he can
Crawford have a hard time. Crawford have a hard time. Murtazaliev's got long arms. He's 5'11". He's a big guy.
Yep.
Big guy.
He'd have a hard time with the sneaky lead right hand of Virgil Ortiz also. He would also have a hard time with the rapid fire pace and pressure of Sergey Boachuk. I think all three fights are very problematic, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I believe at this stage of his career, he loses two of the three.
Yeah, I believe the most difficult of the three, it must be Boachuk because he's durable and he's a bowling puncher, and he's never gonna get off him.
I think the worst style matchup of the three is Virgil Ortiz. That's why he's not interested. In my opinion, guys, last topic in the final 10 minutes. April 12th is right around the corner. Jaron Boots Ennis. Does he get upset by Amantas Stanionis in this unification bout?
No
way.
Did you just say no?
Nope.
Not even.
Yeah, so did I. He ain't gonna get upset.
Really? You don't even think there's a chance? Not even a conversation?
Not even close.
All right, guys.
Stanionis is tailor-made. Stanionis is tailor-made for Jaron Ennis.
Really? With that intelligent jab? Okay, look. I tell you what, guys, I'm gonna go live on April 12th, and we're gonna watch this fight live on this channel. And as soon as Amantes Staniones beats him up with the jab alone and floors him several times, I'm gonna laugh and say, "I told you so." And there it is. Okay, then we're moving on. Then last topic: did we learn anything from Lester Martinez at 168, or is Joshon, was he just a pretender and not a legitimate contender? Did you guys see the fight on Saturday on Pro Box?
I saw it. It's Pro Box.
No, I thought it was a great card.
It was a great card, yeah. It was.
I thought Joshon James overtrained. Keep in mind, he had 3 back-to-back training camps for Lester Martinez, and it showed in the ring. Keep in mind, it had been over a year since he was in the ring before, or almost a year. And he looked like dog shit. Now, once again, not taking anything away from Lester Martinez. But Lester Martinez, what did we learn? A lot of people are calling him, and I know he's from Guatemala, but a lot of people are calling him the Marcos Maidana of super middleweight. In my opinion, we don't know shit. And in my opinion, Christian Mbili wipes up the floor with him. And old Sergey Derevyanchenko beats him. In my opinion, the verdict's still out. Hold on. Roshi, we actually started the show with this. Joseph, a few words on Gabe Rosado destroying Bill Haney at Boxing Voice. Look, we talked about this at the outset of Rick Glaser's, but I want to get the thoughts of Yudis Fernandez. Tell me what your thoughts are on Gabe Rosado destroying Bill Haney on the Boxing Voice.
Fun. I heard some of it, and it was really fun because, Bill Haney has a very big mouth. I respect Devin Haney too because of his achievements, but man, it's a big problem with Bill Haney because he's always doing the talk and he's always making Devin Haney look like a little bitch out there.
Look. Gabe Rosado is the wrong guy to pick on because he's been through it. Every penny that he's earned or that he's made in boxing, he earned it the hard way. Gabe Rosado's a warrior, starting his career at 47, coming up the hard way with promoter Russell Peltz, Hall of Fame badass from Philly. Russell Peltz doesn't mess around. Don Chargan used to tell me, Russell's one of my best friends in this business. And if you sign with him, there's no such thing as a soft touch. And Bill Haney, it's obvious that he doesn't know shit about this business because he had no idea. He was trying to make fun of Gabe Rosado's resume, and he looked like a fucking clown. Let's be honest.
Hey, man, I got to tell you, man, Gabe Rosado is a good commentator, too. I like to see him. I like to listen to him talk, man.
That's what I'm saying. He's a very smart guy.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, Bill Haney found out the hard way that he picked on the wrong guy. Look, you may not be a huge fan of Gabe Rosado, but you damn well respect him. Everyone in this business does. So I'm like, why on earth would you pick a fight with Gabe Rosado? This is a guy that everyone respects. Win or lose, he's been in the ring with everyone at 47, 54, 60, and 68. He's the guy that is fearless. He will fight anyone and their mother on any given day. Hats off to a guy like Gabe Rosado. When Bill Haney found out the hard way that his balls are as big as church bells compared to his sons. And I'm not exaggerating. He wishes his son had the guts, the intestinal fortitude, the fearless demeanor, and the character of Gabe Rosado. He wishes his son had 1/10 of the character that Gabe Rosado has. And that's the last I'm going to say about that. But guys, it looks like we're running out of time. Any final thoughts? Anything you want to talk about, Peter or Eunice?
I'm going for Bud.
Go ahead, Peter.
I'm going for Bud, man. I don't care what you say, man. I'm hanging in there with Crawford, man. I hope he beats Canelo. I hope he knocks him out in the 5th.
Hey, you know what? If he does, I'll be laughing my ass off. Look, guys. Once again, guys, I like both fighters in the ring. But outside of the ring, both of them are a couple of prima donna bitches. Let's be honest here. But in the ring, those two are first ballot future Hall of Famers, and you can't take anything away from either one of them. They're two badasses. My biggest concern is, guys, can we get finally a fight on the biggest stage of boxing where it's a huge mainstream audience and it actually delivers? Because in my opinion, this is going to flop in terms of action with a huge Netflix mainstream audience. And it's almost like boxing can't win. When are we ever going to deliver an all-action fight for the mainstream fans that doesn't include women? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Women are making the guys look like shit.
What about Netflix?
Are we ever going to get a huge fight in front of a large capacity mainstream audience that actually delivers and that actually resembles George Foreman versus Tommy Morrison?
Yeah, well, you know, none of those guys, none of these fighters these days are promoted in the mainstream the way they were years ago. Come on. I mean, George was an icon. So was Ali. So was, those guys were icons. Lennox Lewis.
Oh, geez, I wonder why.
Talking Mike Tyson, man.
I wonder why. Because they threw down, brother. Now,
but they aren't getting this. They aren't getting the same mainstream. They aren't getting the same mainstream. I mean, they don't put them on all three networks.
Listen,
I mean, let's face it. Let's face the facts.
That's not my point, Peter. My point is everyone's going to be dialed in if it's on Netflix to Crawford Canelo. And it's my prediction is, regardless of who wins, it's going to stick out the joint. Now, there was something, I was watching a fight several years ago with one of my friends who's a mainstream fan. And he goes, see, Joseph, this is why I don't watch boxing anymore, because correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I don't know what I'm looking at. But, you know, I like to see more fight in my fights. And he's not wrong. When are we going to finally get a big-time mainstream event that actually throws down? Because this one isn't. And you already know this. This is the biggest problem that I have with this. This is not a great representation for our beloved boxing. It's going to stink out the joint. And exchanges are going to be very few and far in between. So in my opinion, and these are my final thoughts, in my opinion, it doesn't matter who we think is going to win. Because I'll tell you who isn't going to win. The business of boxing. It's going to flop and it's going to resemble watching paint dry. Tell me I'm wrong.
Sorry, I didn't listen to you. So I was a little bit busy.
That's all right, brother. That's all right. Hey, man, if you want to go watch porn instead of being on this show, that's fine. Go do that.
I was fixing something here.
No. My point is, and this is my biggest trepidation, and this is why I really don't want to see this fight, because it's not going to deliver to the mainstream casual audiences in terms of action. It's going to be a damn snoozer.
You mean Canelo and Crawford, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I also I was thinking about it a few days ago, and I think it's gonna be like a before and after, before when this fight happens, because it's gonna be like totally breaking the boxing system. Maybe I don't know. I think that
It's gonna look like watching your grass grow.
no, I know it's gonna be a boring fight, or it's not
Then
exciting to me.
why are we putting so much into this? In my opinion, go put this shithole in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and give us a real fight on Netflix. Say Canelo versus Benavidez, Canelo versus Christian Mbili. Someone who's going to let their balls hang in the ring and actually throw punches.
Yeah,
I
but
want to
on
see this as the biggest, as a representation of the business on the biggest stage of boxing, Netflix. Why
know
are
that-
we getting another dud?
Yeah, we as diehard fans, we don't want to see it, but the swarm of casuals, they want to see it, and they will pay for it, right?
Well, they think they want to see it until it actually plays out and it's a snooze fest. In my opinion, I think we see more action if Canelo fights Jake Paul.
Yeah, you would.
But I also think when this fight happens, I don't know. I feel like after this fight, there won't be like this kind of fights to make. I don't really know how to explain it.
In my opinion,
I feel like it's gonna be completely broken boxing after this fight.
I couldn't agree more. That's my biggest trepidation. My biggest fear is this fight proves to be the final nail in the coffin for the boxing, for the health of our business in the American market. I think the fans after this will have had enough and say, you know what? We give up. We give up. We are convinced that, boxing has just turned into a sport that consists of a bunch of guys who aren't willing to take any more risks in the ring. They want to all be rich. They want millions to not let their hands go. That's what I think. I think this is ultimately going to be bad for the health of the sport.
Yeah, it's already been bad for the sport, and it has been growing until this point. But I think it's gonna like explode, and something's gonna break completely after this fight.
Or you know what? Maybe Dana White, maybe this is what he wants. To say, hey, you know what? I told you guys, boxing is shit. Let's turn it around and let's start all over. Putting in guys who are willing to let their balls hang in the ring, willing to actually throw punches for a reasonable market price.
Exactly.
This is like, in my opinion, this is playing right into the hands of Dana White, who can't wait to say, see, guys, I told you so.
Mm-hmm.
Boxing needs a huge reset. In my opinion, that's exactly what happens in September.
Yeah, and something I was talking to you about the other day, and I mean, look at the timing. You don't see the next Terence Crawford in the future, or the next Shakur Stevenson, and maybe they're just entering in the business.
Wait a minute. You don't think Abdullah Mason has that chance? You don't think Keyshawn Davis has that chance?
I don't know, because they are top ranked prospects, and they always have easy fights until they are old.
In my opinion, Netflix is a nationwide distribution.
You guys don't think Abdullah Mason or Keyshawn Davis has the chance of being the next great American fighter?
Well, they could if they were promoted correctly, but they're not going to be. If you're just counting on Netflix, not everybody has Netflix. There's still people out here with antennas, believe it or not. They're picking up fights at 3 big networks. They used to have Sports Spectacular, ABC's Wide World, and they promote those fights. Now the networks, those 3 networks, took away from that, and there's a lot of people that don't even get the fights, never even hear about them because they got cut out of the equation.
I can tell you this right now. Netflix, their audience is a lot more engaged than the audience for CBS, Fox, NBC, and CBS.
No, it ain't. No, it isn't. No, it isn't, because if they put it on at the correct time, which they used to, people are going to watch it, whether they wanted it or not. It's going to be on there, and there's going to be advertisers that pay for it. But they just cut them out of the equation. What they did is they went ahead and circumvented the marketing. Netflix, big deal. Big deal.
Netflix,
not everybody has Netflix. Sorry.
Okay.
They don't.
Okay. Well, that's where we're going to end the show, and that's what we're going to have to disagree. Because right now, the only salvation for boxing in the American market is Netflix. It's not Fox, not CBS, not NBC, not ABC, not ESPN. It's Netflix.
I don't know about Netflix, Joe. Because
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I don't know. I don't really know about Netflix, because it is true that they have many viewers, like 600 million or more. But these viewers are not exactly boxing fans. And
You
maybe
could say the same thing about CBS, ABC, NBC, and CBS or ABC, whatever, Fox. You could say the same thing.
But it's free, and people get to see what's going on. They just don't promote it like they used to. They don't promote it like they used to. Let's face it. It's not what you call. Okay, look at it like this. Look at it like this. If Madonna came out with an album in a month, it'd be all over all 3 networks and all over Netflix and everything. Boxing isn't.
Dude, let me tell you, you can't tell me that Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, you can't tell me that wasn't a big hit on Netflix. Let me tell you something. Crawford versus Canelo is going to have a similar global audience, over 60 million viewers live. And guess what? It's going to have the same result. It's going to flop because of no action.
But do you think on a regular basis Netflix would be good for boxing? I mean, do you think
I'm going to answer this question, and then we've got to go.
Okay.
Hiroshi says, Joseph, why is it so hard for boxing to come on network basic TV? Because of the lack of sponsors.
Yeah,
NFL
that's it too.
has a shit ton of sponsors. MLB, NBA, NHL, NASCAR. They've got Fortune 500 sponsorship. Boxing, that's why it has to be on Netflix or nothing. Guys, I hope that answers your question. And once again, do you think we're going to pick up any new sponsors when Canelo-Crawford proves to be an actionless dud? That's my biggest trepidation, guys. If Crawford beats Canelo, he'll beat him with boredom, not by landing punches of consequence. That's the reality, guys. That's the reality. So, your parting shots for our listening audience, sir.
Well, thank you, Joe, everyone in the show, in the comments. Well, I don't think Crawford is doing Henry Armstrong stuff by beating Canelo. It would only mean Canelo is down and out, as I've been saying before. But I don't see Crawford being competitive at 168 at all. And about Fundora, I want to say Fundora hasn't proved anything. And I think he's going to vacate that belt because he doesn't want to face Sayas. And he's going to keep being protected by the WBC, and he's gonna keep fighting the bookers of the world.
Oh, Chingao. Oh, can we say Keith Thurman later this year?
Wow.
I don't know.
Peter. So answer this question from our brother Roshi and Euthus. Thank you for once again being a big part of this show, man. We love you on the program, dude.
No, thank you. And God bless you guys.
God bless you too, my friend. Get ready for the resurrection of Christ, Easter Sunday. God bless you, my
Amen.
friend.
Amen.
Roshi says, Peter, are we going to see another Charlo versus Crawford or Canelo in September?
Yeah, well, it's probably going to look like that until about the 5th round. Somebody's going to get knocked out in that fight.
You really
I'm
think
thinking
Crawford's going to knock out Canelo?
Well, I don't know who's going to knock out who, but I know how Bud gets pissed off, and he ain't going to take it, and he ain't going to show him any respect, and Canelo ain't going to show Crawford any respect. If you think those two guys are going to go in there and just dance around each other, somebody's probably going to get knocked out.
I really wish I could share your sentiment, but I do respect it. So God bless you, Peter, and thank you, man, for being a part of the show. We also want to thank Hugo. We want to thank Major Key, and definitely want to thank Big Rick Glaser for kicking us off. But guys, on behalf of everyone here, I want to thank you for tuning in. Have a great Monday evening, everybody.
You too can smell manly if you listen to Real Talk with Rick Glaser.